So, friends, we will start exactly at 10 o'clock. We'll wait for another 1 minute. So, our time was 10 o'clock, but it's okay. As you are witnessing now in the further classes, we will be using what we have learned in the previous classes. So, whenever you come to the class, just make a cursory glance at what we have learned in the previous classes. So it will be easy for you to understand what is being taught. Now it is 10:10, we'll start. I will share a PPT. Yes. It is in front of you. Okay, friends. So today's aim of class is to understand various roles of a trainer. When you go to train, you're not just a trainer or a facilitator. You're something more than that. You are a friend, you are a mentor, you are a guide. So we'll see what are all the competencies of a trainer. What competencies you require? And trainer's competency model. So the competencies and trainer's competency model, and definitely what are the qualities of a trainer? I told you in the very beginning, hereafter, we will be using whatever we have learned already. So when you come to the class and having a cursory glance will help you a lot. Various roles of a trainer. It's very easy for you to understand. You are a teacher, you are a coach, you are a guru in a traditional manner, you are a mentor, as I said, you are a guide. Of course, you are an instructor. So as a trainer, you teach sometimes, you coach sometimes, like a sports coach. Definitely you become a guru, people take your number, say that we'll contact you later on. You have to decide what to do. Mentor, there are some young trainees who would like you to see, to become their mentor, guide and instructor, of course. Now, personal competencies, listening and communication. When you go as a trainer, it's not one-way communication, lecture, lecture, lecture. It's listening also, how they are responding. Your presentation skills, definitely. Of course, when you train, you motivate a lot. Motivate the inner urge to learn. Coaching and mentoring, of course, is a personal quality. Facilitation skills, all that put together become facilitation skill, and definitely conflict management. We don't have a perfect institution. Institutions try to become perfect. Some are near perfect. But to become that near perfect, you have to have overcome a capacity to overcome conflict. And during the training, if you come to understand there is a conflict of ideas or there is a conflict of understanding, then you have to intervene and manage that. So you become conflict manager. Personal development. That's, of course, nowadays we have listened so much of personality development, but personal development through training and ability to use a PC competently. So, and of course, diversity, sensitivity. You cannot teach the same thing what you are teaching in Tirupati, same thing at Punjab. Similarly, in Northeast and South, you have to be very careful. Then the technical competencies, understanding of learning theory, understanding of training methodologies. We have learned so many methodologies. Trainer administration. Somebody as a trainee wants to discuss with you one-to-one, and there are 30 trainees. You become a strict administrator and tell the trainee, sir, 5 minutes. Okay, let's move on. Facilitation skills, the technical competencies, supporting learners in their environment. Many times when we go to a factory, we forget English. We try to use some words from the local language. Not only that, we try to understand what is the job of that person on the shop floor. So when we understand what is his or her work, then we are able to understand in what way that person will be able to learn what I'm trying to teach him. Training evaluation and the assessment of learning. At the end of the day, after the training, how much has been grasped and how much is left? That evaluation is very important for a trainer to understand. And definitely, after all, whatever I'm teaching, if I'm going to teach shop floor management, I must understand what is a shop floor. As I said, I must understand what is the exact nature of work of that shop floor. Or if I'm going to a bank, what type of transactions a bank do, and what are the problems a banker faces or a customer coming to bank also faces. So I must be a subject matter. At least I must understand the nuances of that subject. Business competencies, innovating and emerging technologies. Today, if you go to a training in a bank, you cannot say that I don't understand what is core banking. Then how do we manage? Core banking was not there 30 years back, but today it is there. Digital banking is there. So that I have to understand that. Identification of training needs. What exactly are the training needs? The training needs of a newly appointed employee are quite different from a training needs of an employee who's about to retire in 2 years. Absolutely different. But both of them need training. The new employee has to understand what are the competencies, what are the qualities he need to acquire to become a good employee. And a person at the age of 60 or 62 must understand how best to retire, how to face the new challenges, designing learning objectives. What is my objective of this training workshop? Commercial acumen. As a trainer, we need to understand what is the budget of any industry of the training, budget of teaching, budget of learning, that we have to understand. Stakeholder management. Who are the stakeholders? We'll come into details later on. Project management, of course, you all understand. We can speak on that. And definitely, as a business competent person, you have to understand personal development and training industry policy and regulation. If it is a chemical industry, we must understand its impact on the environment and how the environment management, how the pollution management has to be addressed there. We cannot say that I'm not a chemist or I'm not a chemical engineer, so I don't understand how it will impact the environment. One has to understand that. Trainers competency model, friends. For basics, development, delivery, assessment, management. In development, you have instructional design, business need, technical skill. You have to design, how will I instruct? With a chart, with a case study, or with a model of the industry where I'm teaching? And the technical skill required. How do I deliver? Through a PowerPoint presentation, through a chart, through a case study, anything. And of course, that requires content knowledge. Then assessment. How do I assess whether whatever I have delivered has reached the trainees or not? Like, for example, when we teach about positive thinking, at the end of 3-hour session, the facial expression has to change. There has to be a smile on everybody's face. There has to be a sense of belonging, which could have been absent in the earlier hour. There could have been a disengagement. From disengagement to engagement. That is how we understand outcomes and the competencies. Then management. Of course, while doing this, we have to understand the need analysis, the business impact, metrics and measurements. Every industry has a different metrics. Every industry has a different measurement. In a bank, 1% means a lot. But in a large industry like thermal power station, 1% of coal is nothing. So these things we have to distinguish and understand. That is trainer's competency model. Now, friends, as I said, we'll be coming to the details. Unless you have any question, And as I always say that whenever you have a question, just you can ask and we'll go back to that. Qualities of a trainer. One is communication. Can somebody tell me what do I mean when I say communication? What exactly I mean? Communication in a college is different. Communication in the army is different. And communication at the training room is quite different. Anybody? Everybody has become very serious.
Sir,
Yes, please.
yes, sir. Good morning, sir. So
Good
I
morning.
believe we're talking about the communication when we are expressing our way or our perspective of those objectives to the trainee. What we want to explain to them. Now it can be verbal, it can be non-verbal, it can be with the use of some props. But the idea is that those expressions, those feelings, those perspectives, those narratives have to be shared with the participants.
Very good, very good. Fantastic. It is with the participant, what the participant understands, how much he has or she has grasped. Very good, fantastic. Thank you, Shivani madam. So communication is very important and you have to be sensitive to the requirement of the trainee, sensitive to his or her level of understanding, sensitive to his or her methodology, all these things. VARK, work. So that is communication. Subject knowledge, of course, as I said, we need to understand, it's like an advocate, advocate is a lawyer, but when he's fighting a case of a teacher, he studies all the laws pertaining to education. But the same lawyer, when he is fighting a case of a doctor, the lawyer takes time to understand the laws regarding medical field. He is not a medical expert, but he understands. Like that, a trainer need to understand the subject, not to the level of the actual subject expert, but to some extent. Delivery, as Shivani madam has said, that it's not just throwing words or phrases. It is taking that knowledge, the understanding, this systematic presentation to the last person in the room, to everybody, to his or her comfort level. That is the expert delivery. Focus, of course, this is the most important and sometimes becomes very difficult. Now you go to explain positive thinking to some place in an industry and somebody stands up and says, sir, ऐसे तो कुछ होता नहीं है, people listen to your lecture and second day they become the same. Now what do? You don't have to get engaged with that person. We are not focused about those people. As last time I also said, if you are training 30 people, there will be 3 or 4 who will not be affected. But should I focus on those 3 or 4? Or I should focus on my subject and those 30 people who are responding positively, responding with a responsibility, and responding with a sense of belonging, sense of engagement. So my focus has to be on subject and on the positive development of the training in the course of training. That is what I mean by focus. Training need analysis and ability to design. What are the needs of the training? We have seen in last 3 or 4 lectures. Every training has a need. You have to analyze and design as per that training. As I said, the training need of a shop floor worker is quite different from the training need of a bank officer. That you have to understand. Versatility. Of course, like any other expert, a trainer has to be versatile. Sometimes you sing a small song, sometimes you present a share or shairi, sometimes you show a video, sometimes you engage in a role playing. So you have to be versatile. That's absolutely required. Definitely time management. This is a big challenge. You are an expert on a subject like team management. You are an expert and you require 3 hours to complete the full range of team management. Fine, very good. And as an expert, I understand You require 3 hours. But there is a hospital where they say, please teach us team management, but in 1 hour. Now, friends, you cannot say that I cannot teach team management in 1 hour, so let us not have a training. That will be defeating the purpose. So from 3 hours, you have to make efforts. Maybe you'll spend 5 hours to bring that 3 hour training to 1 hour training. It requires enormous amount of efforts, but you have to finish that team management training in 1 hour. So that is what we say, versatility and time management. You combine these two, and then you become a good trainer. Patience, definitely. Sometimes when we go for training, the first half an hour, the trainees close their mind, close their hands, and they sit. Oh, what the hell this man will teach us? For half an hour. No response, no clapping, no answer, no question. What do we do? You have only one option. Keep patience. Wait for that first answer. Wait for that first question, or wait for that first smile on the first person in the training room. Patience, you have to, absolute patience. Qualities of a trainer again, communication. A good trainer must be able to establish a good communication channel with the trainees. Channel, both ways. He or she must be able to ask questions. You are sometimes what happens, language becomes a barrier. In a country like India, where so many languages are, but fortunately for us, you mix two languages, English and Bengali, English and Marathi, English and Tamil. Fine, you can speak any language. So language will not become a barrier. You have to establish a communication. Subject knowledge. Whatever you train to whomever, you must understand the subject very well. Knowledge of the subject gives you high level of confidence. You may not be a banker, but you spend some 3 or 4 hours to understand how the banking works, right from Reserve Bank to a cooperative sector bank. Simple. The skeletal understanding will give you a level of confidence. Delivery. Professional trainers will always have a confident style of training delivery that has a strong impact. Forget about. I remember once Lata Mangeshkar's interview was taken. She had gone to Royal Albert Hall. First time she sang outside India, and the Prime Minister of England was sitting in the hall. London Chronicle or some newspaper journalist came and asked to Lata Mangeshkar. So many big people were standing. Were you not afraid? You know what she answered? I never sing for the others. I sing for my own satisfaction. Lata Mangeshkar, should feel that Lata Mangeshkar has sung well. That's all. And the interviewer was so happy that she sings for the quality. She doesn't sing for somebody's approval. So delivery has to be professional. Focus, as I said. When you are training a group in any subject, you must have the ability to remain focused in order to achieve your goals and cover the planned material. As I said just a few minutes back, there will be people, they are not negative minded, but they want to understand from this angle, from that angle, from their experience, whatever they have experienced. But you need to be focused on your subject and focused on your time management. Training need analysis and ability to design. A professional trainer needs to be able to identify training needs correctly and design a suitable training program for clients and trainees. You have understood this very well. Versatility, also I explained. Be ready to change and adapt to working in a different situation and different environments. One place, that training is over. New place, new challenges, new methods, new systems. Time management. Good time management habits are the secret weapon of effective, efficient trainers. You must understand, in half an hour, this must be over. Next half an hour, this must be over. Then next half an hour, I must do an exercise. After that, a small feedback, then a role play, and then last half an hour, I must come to conclusion slowly, slowly through questions and answers. Patience, as I said, people learn in different ways and at different speeds. So you must have your patience. So friends, the first part is over. Any questions? Then I'll come to a case study presentation. And then we'll go to next. I think I have gone very fast today. Yes, friends, any questions?
It was not very fast, sir. I completely related to it. No questions, but I just wanted to tell you I felt very relatable. When you told that there might be one participant who will be contesting against the idea only
Yeah.
that, why are we here? Why positive thinking? So it has
Yeah.
happened with me.
Okay.
And fortunately, because of the mentors of the first semester, I could understand, okay, I don't have to be neck to neck to these people. Just
Hmm.
let it be. So I felt very relatable with what you just said. And thank you so much, sir. No questions from me.
Yes, yes. See, there are two things. You know everything, right? You know a lot of things. Like as I said, you have gone to a bank, and it is said the customer is the most important person. But not every customer is important. A customer will come who is in a mood to fight with you. Now the banker asks you, Madam, how should I respond to this customer? Because we have been told that he is the most important person. Yes, he is the most important person as long as he is behaving within the rules and regulations stipulated for banking. I hope you understand. So even if he's an 80-year-old man or a woman, he should respect the queue unless the people in the queue agree for him or her to go in front. It is not the prerogative or the privilege of that customer, or it is not within the right of the banker to ask him come and take it. It is the mutual understanding between the people who are standing in the queue and that person. That is all. Beyond that, as a trainer, you cannot interfere. I hope you understand. So the banker has a different problem. But as a trainer, as I said, you should understand what are the banking regulations. So as you rightly said, there will be people, and I'm not questioning the sincerity of that person who's asking you a question again. He or she might have faced some difficult situations. He or she might have faced a lot of problems. And he looks at you as somebody who can take me out of that situation. So he is looking at you as a savior, and that is his mistake. He should look at you only as a trainer, not as a savior. We are not saviors. We have our limited role. We are trainer. We will say this. That is what I said, to be focused, because you know the answer and you start talking with him. The other 29 people may not be interested in what he or she is talking. Number one. Number two, the total time devoted to one question is maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but if you spend 10 minutes, so you have to make compromise somewhere else. So that focus and time management has to be joined together, put together, and manage the situation. Yeah, Mr. Yogesh Kumar, you want to ask him? Yeah. Yes, okay. If nobody else is there, then I'll go to the case studies. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes. Identifying the right training style, sorry, at a bank. Now, this is actual case study, but I've changed the name because there could be some other issue. Find bank a large financial institution. And what is its work? Banking and financial services. So you all know it. but situation. Training objective to improve employees' proficiency with a new financial analysis software. This is a very, what do you call, common issue. A new software comes. In my college, there were some employees who refused to work on the computer. They said, we cannot work on the computer because the entire financial issue came on the computer, but we had to train them. Participants, 120, now here, please pay attention. 120 employees, including financial analysts, branch managers, and customer service representatives, 3 different levels: analysts, manager, and service representatives. That is the challenge for the trainer. Now, problem statement. Pine Bank recently implemented a new financial analysis software intended to streamline reporting and improve decision making. I hope you understand. This is the problem. They implemented a new financial analysis software. Now, however, initial feedback suggested that the traditional lecture-based training approach was ineffective. One expert came, he delivered a lecture, it did not impact, with employees struggling to use software efficiently. What could be the problem? Yeah, can anybody tell me that a lecture? Yes, please, Shivani.
I think because lecture-based things were happening, so they were not able to experience the software. They were not able to see the loopholes, what exactly
Yes,
is going
yes,
from the employee's perspective.
yes, yes, yes. So we needed a kinesthetic approach, not a lecture approach. Anyway,
Plus,
so the goal was, yeah, yes, yes.
plus this is a analyst kind of thing. So you need people to actually practice that. For example, you
Absolutely.
give them Excel sheets.
Yes,
People need to practice and need to ask the trainer. So it
yes,
can't be
absolutely.
one-sided lecture. It has to be something, which is allow people to work and use that. Because
Yeah,
ultimately they are going to, the purpose of the training is to actually use that software. So until unless they have proficiency on that, they won't be able to use it. So that's very
very,
important.
very correct. Very well said. That's why I use the word kinesthetics, that hands-on. Use it, try to understand and go forward. Very good. Very well said. So the goal was to identify and implement the most suitable training style to enhance learning outcomes, right? This was the goal. Identifying the right training style. As Mr. Ricky Singh has said, lecture method was not the right method. Lecture method they could have started with lecture method, but definitely gone on to the hands-on training. With every employee sitting on a computer and trying to implement the software and then asking questions. Very rightly said. Assess learner characteristics, learning preferences. Pine Bank administered a work questionnaire to identify predominant learning styles among the employees. Now, when somebody asks me a question, how would you like to be learned? Or how do you like to learn? I've got 4. Well, it's lecture, audio, what you call reading, or kinesthetic. When I give a choice, I become responsible. Because if that method is implemented, I have to be there with my mind and brain and heart, everything. I have to present myself with that. I cannot say this is beyond me. So that is one thing. Then 35% people said we like to be visual learners. PowerPoint presentation, chart, flow chart. 25% auditory learners on lecture. 75% did not prefer lecture method, and that's why the first time it failed. 20% reading, writing learners, that you give a training, what you call papers to them, they'll read, come back. 20% said kinesthetic learners, that unless you give it to our hands, we will not be interested. That is the challenge. Demographics, the workers included a range of ages and levels of technological comfort. I told you at the very beginning, 3 levels are there. Now remember, friends, the challenge is visual learners, auditory learners, reading, writing learners, kinesthetic learners are almost equally divided. 35, 25, 20, 20. Now, define training objectives. We are in theory and now putting into practice. Content nature. The
Sir,
training
could you
needed
show
to.
the last slide, please? Thank you, sir.
Anything you want to comment, Mr. Pandey?
Sir, regarding the last questionnaire,
Yeah.
is it universal like this 35% visual or
No.
different
It was in that particular institution. It was in that particular institution. As I said, this is a real life case study. I've just changed the name. We have just changed the name.
Like, sir, in a training program, we involve all the four senses
Yes.
so that all the learners will be involved, whether it is visual
Yes.
or auditory.
Yes.
So
Yes. You are true.
I think it should be a mix of all the
Generally, but many times what happens, Mr. Pandey, that the tilt is towards one particular method. But here you can see that almost equally divided, not exactly, but 35%. Minimum is 20%, and maximum is 35%. So you have to do
Right.
justice to all the four types of, and it could be because the questionnaire didn't have the fifth method. There could be some people who would have preferred a fifth method also. I hope you understand.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the intervention.
Yes.
So, yeah. Yes. Yes, Mr. Yogesh Kumar, you want to say something? Yes. You're not audible. Okay.
So by sir, sir is
So-
not on mute.
Huh?
I
Yes.
think so by mistake sir is not on mute. Please request.
Okay. No, it's no issue. No issue. We need to learn that also. So the training needed to cover both basic and advanced features of software, as Mr. Our friend Singh had said, ensuring that employees could perform their task efficiently and effectively. And what should be the learning outcomes? The primary objective was for employees to become proficient with the software. Yes. Inclu- Mr. Yogesh Kumar, please mute yourself if others are talking.
I guess you have to put him on mute, sir.
Can I do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is muted.
Thank you. So now content nature is over. Learning outcome. The primary objective was for employees to become proficient with the software, including data entry. Like, try to understand. Right from the stage of data entry to report generation and advanced analytical functions. All this. So as Mr. Singh had said, it had to be on-the-job training. It has to be kinesthetic learning. That has to be with the software being worked with the trainees with the software and training the trainer. Then analyze the training environment, available resources. FinCorp Bank had access to modern training tools, including e-learning platforms and conference rooms equipped with project system. Everything was there. They also had a budget for developing custom training materials. One very good thing of this was the institution had no limitation. Good infrastructure, good training facilities, and budget. Setting. The training was planned to be delivered in both in-person and online formats to accommodate different working schedules and locations. This is one very big challenge because they wanted everybody, all the 120 employees to be trained simultaneously. So all the 120 employees will not be on the job. Some could be on leave, some could be in a shift. So online and in person. Fourth, Select training methods and materials based on identified learning styles and training objectives. The following methods and materials were chosen. For visual learners, created video tutorials and interactive visual aids to demonstrate software features and workflows. First one, V. Infographics, flowcharts, and screencasts. For auditory learners, developed audio recordings and conducted live webinars featuring expert
Previous
explanations and
slide once. Okay.
thank you. Recorded sessions and discussion forums. For reading writing learners, provided detailed written guides and manuals, incorporated quizzes and written assignments to reinforce learning. So they are more comfortable doing this. Materials, comprehensive user material, FAQs, frequently asked questions, and written case studies so that they can go home, study the case studies, and ask questions later on. For kinesthetic learners, organized hands-on workshops where employees could practice using the software in real-time scenarios, and that just omit that is by mistake it has come. Time scenarios and role-playing exercises, interactive simulations and practical exercises. Now, point 5 is implement and monitor the training. Pilot testing, this is very important, try to understand. Conduct a pilot session with a small group of employees representing different learning styles to gather initial feedback and make adjustments. Now, somebody would say or can say, this waste of time, energy, and money. Could be, but when you directly go in front of 120 trainees, the challenges are multiplied. Instead of that, you take 4 or 5 from each category, each level, make a small group of 20 people, have a 1-hour session, and try to understand how your program, your training program designed with your understanding will go with their understanding. That will be called as a pilot testing. So this is not waste of time. This is not a waste of energy. It is a useful investment. I hope you understand. Training delivery rolled out the training program in a blended format, combining online modules, in-person workshops, and self-paced learning resources, which we already discussed earlier. Monitoring, regularly collected feedback through surveys and observation to assess engagement and effectiveness. Adjustments were made based on participant responses and performance merits. Try to understand, friends, 120 people, a new software, it was not a single day program. It went on for a number of days, 4 or 5 days. But after each days of training program, a feedback was taken. And after taking the feedback, the training group, the trainers group sat together in the evening and decided for the next day, what could be the realignment, what could be the readjustment, and what could be the new planning. So every time they went one step ahead of yesterday's performance. So that is how the training became a very useful, successful training. Evaluate training effectiveness, assess learning outcomes, used pre and post training assessments to measure improvements in employees' proficiency with software, as what Mr. Singh had said. Earlier, they were using the software, but without any good command on that. Now, with the software in front of them and the training in progress, they understood how to use the software, what should be my outcome, and what should be my delivery. So that outcome was understood. Feedback collection, gathered detailed feedback from participants about their experiences with the training methods and materials. Results analysis, analyzed data to determine which training components were most effective, and identified areas for further improvement, which I said that after a day's training program, take a feedback. After the feedback, do a result analysis, whether the flow chart was more impactful or the PowerPoint presentation was more impactful or personal mentoring made a big impact. So that result has to be brought together, analyzed, and second day's program. Okay. Identifying the right training style using WARP model. This is second case. Of course, I'll go back. The case one is over. I hope you have understood, friends. Is that clear? We'll be sharing this PPT with you. You can go through it again. Unless you have any question, I'll go to the second case.
Sir, here I would like to share our bank experience.
Oh, please, please.
Our total strength is 50,000 plus employees,
Oh my goodness.
out of which
Great.
8,000 is a subordinate staff.
Ah,
And, during Corona, we have implemented upgradation of Finacle software, which is a CBS core banking software.
yes.
So the restrictions for getting together was there. So we
Yes.
had to train all of them online and do this ELMs. So we have developed
What is that used?
e-learning modules.
E-learning one. Okay.
E-learning modules.
Okay. Yes.
And because of the restrictions, physical classrooms were out.
Yes.
So we have done virtual training
Mhm.
through our training colleges. Then we have prepared 40 e-learning modules containing all the modules of the new software.
Yes.
It was upgradation of existing software,
Yes.
but it took a long time because as Mr. Singh has rightly said, the practical issues were there, which
Yes.
may not have been addressed in the modules and even in the virtual these things, sessions. So that practical things is there. Then after the Corona is over, our training server, we have a training server of core banking server was developed with the vendor, of course. Then it is slowly stabilized. So, and practice is very important in such things, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Your addition reinforces what we have learned. Thank you, Mr. Rao. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are in which bank, Mr. Rao?
Bank of India, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good input, Mr. Rao. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we'll go to the second case, unless there are any other questions or inputs, like Mr. Rao has done a wonderful input. Okay. Now, second case is identifying the right to training style using a work model. I've taken a case of the hospital situated in Nagpur itself. Background: company name Kingsway Hospitals, industry healthcare, size 300 employees, location 3 metropolitan cities. Kingsway Hospitals faced a challenge in the effectively training its diverse workforce on a newly integrated system. Because it's a health care institute, medical institute, big hospital with all these specializations. It is difficult for a layperson to understand their intricacies, their differences, their wide range of services. So it was a challenge. The goal: to identify the most effective training style based on work model to enhance employee learning and application of the new system. Try to understand, friends. In all such institutions like this Kingsway Hospitals, I don't know about the banking, but here there are large number of newly appointed staff. Out of the 300, almost 100 were such employees, which those who had joined within last 3 months. And it's a challenge for the institution to integrate these newly appointed. I'm even counting a three-month-old employee as a newly appointed employee, to integrate with the hospital management, hospital system, hospital culture. The problem is that such number of such employees go on changing every 3 months, every 6 months. New people come, old people go. training has to address to this situation. The goal, to identify the most effective training style based on work model to enhance employee training and application of the new system. Objective was to determine the optimal training style or combination of styles using the work model to maximize learning efficiency and effectiveness for health, medicine, innovations, employees. Training style based on work model, visual learning, auditory learning, reading, writing learning, kinesthetic learning. I have told you at the very beginning of today's lecture that we'll be now referring to what we have learned in the last 4 or 5 lectures. We are now coming into the implementation model using the model. Assessment and decision making, need analysis, the first step. Employee survey, conducted survey to assess employees' preferred learning style based on work model, what we have seen in the FinCorp Bank also. Performance data, analyzed current employee performance and training effectiveness to identify areas needing improvement. One of the common areas in that hospital was employees coming late to the hospital, giving various reasons. Unfortunately, when this training was conducted, Nagpur did not have a good metro system. Nagpur's best public transport was a bus system. Today, of course, we have a very good metro system. So the, late coming has reduced little, but there was, and second was absenteeism. The temporary employees never felt like that. If they remain absent for 2 days, how much loss it will happen to the institution. That problem was there. Manager interviews gathered insights from the managers on the observed training preferences and effectiveness within their teams. Every manager, as I said, the hospital has an HR department, a management department, a catering department, and the medicine department, and the medical experts. So the integration of all these departments and then give a training. So manager interviews were very important. Pilot testing again, when you deal with a large institute, as Mr. Rao has said, 50,000 employees, 50,000 employees. Unless you do a pilot testing, you cannot do a training program. Implemented pilot training programs incorporate each work learning style. For visual, we developed video tutorials and infographics. Auditory, created podcasts and hosted live webinars with question and answer sessions. Reading, writing provided detailed manuals and written guides. Kinesthetics organized hands-on workshops and role-playing exercise. All the 4 methods covered. Collected feedback from the participants on the effectiveness and engagement levels of each training style. Evaluation. Engagement levels, monitored participation rates, and feedback for each work-based training style. Learning outcomes, evaluated improvements in knowledge and skills through assessment and practical exercises. You will see that things are being repeated, what happened in FinCorp and here, but there is a small difference. Employee preference, same, analyze survey data to determine the preferred learning styles among the different employee groups. Recommendations, now here comes the difference. Implement a multimodal training approach, first recommendation. Develop a training program that incorporates visual aids, auditory resources, reading, writing materials, and hands-on activities to address the diverse needs of employees. Customization and flexibility. Allow employees to choose training methods that best suit their learning preferences, providing options for each style. Continuous feedback and adaptation. Regularly collect feedback to redefine and adopt the training program based on employee experiences and learning outcomes. Okay, I hope this is clear, friends. Kingsway hospitals. It's almost repetition of, except the, as I said, departments. So we had the managers in our focus here. Unless you have any question, I'll go to the third case study. Multifaceted roles of a trainer.
Earlier case study.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Sir, like in the previous case thing, that personal mentoring is beneficial to the employee.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. No, in hospitals, there was no need for personal mentoring. In FinCorp method, because a software was being implemented. Software was there, which is very, what do you call, very important to be very correct with the software. Here, integration of different departments. So it was group activity. Understanding as a group belonging to HR department, a group belonging to medicine department, a group belonging to management department, a group belonging to catering department. So how the different groups will interact with each other so that the efficiency of the hospital will go on. That's why personal mentoring was not needed in Kingsway Hospital. Okay, Mr. Pandey? Yes? I hope I've answered the question. There is a
Yes, sir.
small... Okay, thank you. So it was a good question, and that was a difference between the FinCorp training and Kingsway training. Now we come to the third case study, multifaceted roles of a trainer. The reference is to Grandview Hotel. Now, what is a Grandview Hotel? Grandview Hotel is a luxury establishment located in a bustling city center. It could be any, mega city of the world. Known for its high standards of service and hospitality, the hotel continuously seeks to enhance its guest experience and staff performance. Try to understand, friend. In FinCorp, finance is involved. In Kingsway, health is involved. But here in Grandview Hotel, personal relationship, personal service is important. So human role, the human element is very important here. So the new challenges is there. To achieve these goals, they hired Jordan Lee, an experienced trainer with a background in hospitality management. As I said, this is a real case study. Role of a trainer. First, service excellence trainer. Scenario, Grandview Hotel wanted to elevate its guest service standards. Jordan was tasked with developing a training program to enhance front desk and concierge staff skills. The staff that takes care is called as concierge staff. Try to understand a person, a lady or a gentleman sitting at the reception counter has to tackle one by one each customer. It's not a group of customers. One customer coming from Russia will not be able to speak fluent English. A person coming from China may not at all know English. A lady, a 70-year-old lady coming from Japan may have a different approach. So you need human skills to have a high level of guest service. That is what this is saying. Actions. Jordan designed a comprehensive service excellence training program that included role-playing scenarios. Here comes the role play. How do you tackle an old lady, a young person, a young girl, or a business tycoon? Communication skills, workshops. How do you communicate? And customer service principles. You know, some people don't have the habit of smiling when they say good morning or namaste. They don't smile because they were never smiled. But without smiling, if you are sitting on the front reception desk of a hotel, it won't go well. So that customer service principles, the program emphasized the importance of personalized guest interactions and problem-solving techniques. When the people come to hotels, there are a number of problems, so many problems, different types of problems. For the customer, it is his one problem. But at the reception desk, if 4 people are sitting and 40 customers have come, out of 40, 20 customers have problem, they have to tackle 20 different problems. Each problem having a dimension of its own. That is what we call as customer service principles. That was action. Operational efficiency coach. Now try to come back. Roles of a trainer as a service excellence trainer, one role. How best you can provide a service, that training has to be given. So you become a service excellent trainer. The second role is operational efficiency coach. The hotel's housekeeping department was facing challenges with time management and efficiency, leading to delays in room turnover. Jordan was asked to address these issues. So you become efficiency coach. Try to understand, friend. In the hotel, a person is in the room who has a flight at 12 o'clock, and the distance between his hotel and the airport takes 2 hours. It means that person has to be at the fire at 10 o'clock. It should be outside the hotel to be picked up by the taxi by 10 o'clock. So if he has to be out by 10 o'clock, it means all his dues have to be settled by 9:30 to 9:45, keeping a break a gap of 15 minutes. This, the housekeeping staff has to understand that this person's need to be checked out at 10 o'clock. And that for that, what is to be done 2 hours before, 3 hours before, 1 hour before, so on and so forth. That is what we call as efficiency coach. Jordan conducted a series of workshops focused on streamlining housekeeping procedures, time management, and effective use of resources. He introduced new cleaning protocols and tools designed to enhance productivity. New protocols. Cultural sensitivity educator, public teacher. As I told you, if you are an international hotel, you can get a customer, a guest from anywhere from the world, speaking any language, with a different cultural background. With an increasing number of international guests, Grandview Hotel needed to enhance staff awareness of cultural differences and sensitivities. Jordan was tasked with creating a training program to address this need. Cultural sensitivity educator to become. Jordan developed a cultural sensitivity training module that included insights into various cultural norms, practices, and expectations. The training involved interactive sessions and real-life examples to help staff better understand and respect diverse cultures. Emergency preparedness trainer. Every hotel, like every other industry, may get an emergency. So, medical emergencies, natural disasters, you have to train the employees for that. Jordan designed and delivered emergency preparedness training that covered safety protocols, evacuation plans, and first aid. He organized drills and simulations to ensure staff were familiar with emergency procedures and could act quickly in crisis situations. A trainer then becomes emergency preparedness trainer also. Leadership development mentor. The hotel identified a need to develop a leadership skills amongst its supervisory and management staff to foster better team management and strategic thinking. Jordan was assigned to this role. Actions. Jordan developed a leadership development program that included workshops on leadership styles, decision-making, conflict resolution, and team dynamics. He also provided one-on-one coaching for aspiring leaders. Here comes up mentoring. Conclusion. Jordan Lee's role at Grandview Hotel exemplifies the diverse responsibilities a trainer can undertake in the hospitality industry. From enhancing service excellence and operational efficiency to promoting cultural sensitivity and emergency preparedness, Jordan's multifaceted approach significantly contributed to Hotel success. In single trainer having different role, almost 7 different role. That is how a multifaceted role is expected from a trainer, friends. His efforts led to improved guest satisfaction, increased staff performance, and a stronger competitive position in the hospitality market. Thank you, friends. Unless you have any questions. Yes, we had 3 case studies, 3 different sectors, and of course, the different roles of a trainer. Yes, any questions? Yes, friends.
Sir, if the
Yes.
if suppose in a class of training, 50% are visual learners,
Hmm.
rest are divided. So should we make the visual content ratio wise
No.
that much? If we rely on
No,
all the 4?
it should always rely on all the 4, but your tilt must be towards more on visual. But you cannot avoid or eliminate others. So
Okay,
the
sir.
outcome will be more efficient. And
Right.
in that case, 35%, 25%, all were equally divided. So it was a challenge. But 50% on one side, it gives a big scope to become a visual training and then add to that others little bit. Yes, Mr. Shukla.
Sir, regarding work, like visual, like a child when it born and up to 4 years of age, mostly it listen and see. So listening is very important because he listen papa, he listen mama, then he see it, and he learns because he don't it doesn't use any pen paper. So whatever he or she listening, then he grown up. And so listening is important at early stage of life. How we take this learning procedure, learning things from a study of newborn baby. So visual is also important, but my idea is to say that listening also equally important, because somewhere listening, we are listening something passively. So we are not attentively visualizing anything. We are just listening the tracks, like your recording, like recording of Yugal sir. I am doing some other job, multitasking. So things are going in my mind. I am doing some other job. I am listening that YouTube video. So that also gives a lot of things in my mind and recall the things when time needed.
Yes. But there is a difference between what the child does or what a trainee does. There is a big difference.
Sir, trainee, yes, trainee and a child, there's a difference of age. So due to
Not
that
just
character,
age. No, not just age. Not just age. No. A child is
Sir.
not under pressure, not under time restrictions, and he or she, the child is not bothered about the outcome. Absolutely free. Try
Yes,
to
sir,
understand.
yes, sir.
Child is absolutely free, and you don't there are no expectations. He is not
Yes, sir.
answerable.
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So as you said that you close the video and you're doing your own work. But I tell you, Mr. Shukla, the
Sir.
efficiency reduces. The efficiency reduces.
Exactly,
If you are
sir.
not focused, the efficiency
Sir,
will reduce.
Exactly, sir. But at
Yeah.
times,
So
we are sort of, sir, we don't have much time.
No. I don't agree with you. I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. The training should be like cricket or football. If you are a goalkeeper, you have to be focused completely 100%.
Sir,
On
I'm
the
talking
football.
about the
Try to understand. Try it on the football, on the person who's going to score the goal. If you are not focused there, you are likely to suffer a goal. Similarly, if you are a batsman, you have to be absolutely focused on the bowler, on the fieldsman, and your own position. Without that, you cannot score any run. If you want to listen to what the people are shouting at the gallery, we want to show it to your wife or your mother or father that I am standing here, you cannot score runs. So being focused, whether in training or in cricket or in football or in flight or in the train, being focused is very, very important. The child doesn't need to be that much focused. A child is independent. And that's why the children learn very fast. They're independent. They're not under pressure. Sometimes we say that, be like child, but there is a difference. That difference you must understand.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you. Good
sir.
question,
Thank you.
good intervention.
Sir, thank you.
That's
Yeah.
it from me.
Shivani?
So sir,
Style. If
No, I think Shivani has started speaking. Mr. Pandey, you can
Okay, sir.
continue after
Okay.
that. Yes.
I'll
Sir, while asking for the work style, we are mostly giving a questionnaire to the participants, right, to understand what exactly are the learning preferences. But also, can you please throw some light on how to make that data as at least like 90-95% unbiased? Because most of the time, what happens, people themselves are not very reflective of their learning style. They will just write anything, okay, audio looks fine, okay, take, okay, visual looks fine, let's take. So, sir, how to make sure that the data which is coming to us, what kind of questionnaire should be there, which gives us the right kind of data so that we can start making our content like that.
Very good question.
So this is
Number
the
one,
same
yes, Mr. Pandey. Yes, Mr. Pandey.
times the learners when they're answering, they get skewed. So how to make it sure that they are particular type?
Yes, very, very good, very, very pertinent. Very pertinent. See, one first thing is never ask open-ended question. The questionnaire should be closed-ended. One A, B, C, D. What is your preference of learning? Now, if you stop there, it is an open-ended question. But when you say A, kinesthetic, B, audio, C, visual, D, hands-on training, E, interactive skill. So that the respondent reads all the 4 or 5 alternatives and chooses one. So in a questionnaire, open-ended questions will not give you the right data, number one, right? Number two, how to analyze, you must take the help of a statistician or a psychologist, right? If a person says, I'm interested in visual, and then in another question he says, I need a break after half an hour. So it's a psychologist or a statistician who would be able to tell you what kind of a person this person is, what kind of training will be helpful to this person. I hope you understand. Some people, they will say that after an hour of training, give us a time of 15 minutes to do our work. Now, this is a different kind of a person. So we should need to take a help of a statistician or a psychologist to understand the outcome sometimes. But once or twice you do take the help, third time you did not take the help of the psychologist. You can yourself interpret what kind of a person is this person is and what kind of training will be useful to him. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Is there a standard questionnaire for finding the work style or?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, there are. When you do training, you understand all these things. There are.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Okay, friends, then Shivani, you want to ask anything?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So now the thing is that, okay, even if they are giving them a questionnaire which is closed-ended, has 13 options only. My question is like, should we do a prior briefing to the participants so that they understand the relevance of it? Is it something which you would suggest, sir? Because what happens is, like, let's suppose we are giving to them, even if we have told everything, even if the answers are very close-ended, they'll be just taking it off and just moving ahead. And once, because the data is not right, and once we are taking the facilitation, that will not be that effective. So, how to reduce that gap then? Should we do a prior briefing? Is that what you
Very
suggest, or
important.
there's
That
something
is very important. A prior briefing, not with all the trainees, but as in case of the Kingsway Hospital, there was an interaction with the managers. So what we came to know that a lot of employees are not comfortable with English. So immediately we made the PowerPoint presentation bilingual, English and Hindi. So the response improved. So this feedback comes from some, right? And then another feedback was there, that there are at least 20% people who will never ever answer your question, but they will respond facially. So as a trainer, when we went, I had gone, I understood by facial expression, these people have understood. Others are answering question. So this briefing sometimes gives you an insight how you should go about with training. What kind of briefing? That depends on institution to institution, place to place, it differs. Like in case of the banking service, they had a pilot program, pilot testing with 20 people brought from all sections, different levels, different language, different preferences. You understand? Out of 20, 4 were kinesthetics, 5 were audio. Out of 20, 4 were manager level, 5 were analysts, rest were representatives. So different kind of distribution was brought in 20 and the analysis was done. So that briefing helps. It definitely helps. Very good. Okay, friends, unless there are other questions, we'll break here and rejoin.
One
Yes.
more question. Sorry, sir.
Huh?
Sir, the thing is, if you can just share any standard work or any good work questionnaire which you have or which you might have used in your training session, it will really help. Well, we already use, but I want to see what is the exact benchmark, what is that standardization, and if I'm lagging somewhere where I should improve from a trainer's perspective. If you can just share it maybe sometime with them.
Yeah, see, experience teaches us, right? As I told you, once I went to a blind school to train. So facial expression was out of question. Oh, who's talking? Srijit Nair. Yes. See, so I interacted with some of the students. What I learned, they would indicate their approval by the chin. When they tilt their chin towards you, it means they're approving your actions. When they tilt the chin away from you, they don't approve what you are saying. See, it's a new input. So like that, your experience also teaches, interaction also teaches. And remember one thing, now I'll not say this outside, 100% success is not possible. I hope you understand. Right? 100% success is not possible. Otherwise, Ronaldo, the great footballer, he is now the greatest footballer. He will score at least 10 goals in every match. But he scores only 2 or 3 goals. Because there is no perfection there, no. So like that in our training also, if you expect that I'm training to 100 people and all the 100 should have understood everything that I wanted to tell, that outcome don't expect. Out of 100, 80% have understood 80% of what you have said. You should be happy. Yeah. Okay. You got my point?
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. So we'll rejoin at 12 o'clock at the same link. Okay. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, 4 o'clock or either 2 o'clock?
No, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, right.